Hello, sorry I look a bit tired. I didn't get any sleep last night. But welcome to this next chapter. I am going to be getting some betas in the post in the next few days, and I need to set up their tanks. So that's what we're gonna do. I have decided to put them here on these little tables in the room, and they can sit and watch me edit videos and talk to myself in a camera, because won't that be fun? But they like attention, so hopefully they'll enjoy being in a more public place rather than my room where I just sleep. So here we go. Setting up fish tanks. Gonna be fun. We have a 10-gallon here and 2 5s over here. So fish tanks are simultaneously the love of my life and the bane of my existence. They drive me absolutely mad. But alright, so we're going to get these filled. We're going to get them hooked up to their sponge filters, and we're going to get heaters in. We're going to get their lights ready, and this one is filled with substrate already. These two are going to be filled with pool filter sand. Heater set to 78 degrees. We're getting beta, so it's going to be a little bit warmer than your community tank. Plugged in. Alright. This is my air pump. It is a Tetra Whisper. Nice and quiet. So here we plug it in, and we connect the air hose, and my filter goes bubbling away again. More Chem Prime, because the good bacteria in the filters will die if you don't use it. Chlorinated water kills bacteria, and it doesn't discriminate between your good and bad bacterias. Alright, so now we're moving on to the second tank over here. This one needs a nice heater. I think I overfilled this tank. That's okay, it's easy to unfill. Nice heater. Plugged in, set at 78 degrees. So this is bottled bacteria. Just because whenever a filter is disrupted, it always gets unhappy. This one is called Seed. It's also made by Chem. It's quite similar to Stability. Depending on which one you like better, I guess. But different people like different stuff. Some say that Tetra Safe Start works best. Some people say Stability works best. Some people say this stuff works best. So I think it just depends on the person and what you're after. Alright. So this heater is go. Yep, it's on. It's running. It still works. Okay, I've forgotten one last very important thing. Both of these are live filters, meaning they already have bacteria in them, which means they need to eat ammonia to make nitrites, and then they need to eat nitrites to make nitrates. And because we don't have any fish in there yet, we don't have anything producing ammonia. So this is ammonium chloride, and we're just going to put the tiniest bit into the tank, just so the bacteria have something to eat until the fish leave. And they're leaving tomorrow, and they should be arriving 2 days after that. But this is really potent ammonium chloride, so I'm just really really going lightly on it. Alrighty, and also maybe you shouldn't handle pure ammonium chloride with your bare hands. That was probably an awful idea. It burns a little bit. Okay, so these are the fish tanks I set up yesterday. This one is a 10-gallon. And the filter's running, and it looks pretty good. It's heated up to temperature at 25 degrees, so I've got to warm that up. We have to warm that up just a little bit more because they're bettas. So we're gonna hike that up to 82. So the great range for bettas is 78 to 82. We have our next fish tank. This one is a 5-gallon. It's already got substrate in it. And that takes us to, that one is heated up again to 76. So we just are gonna knock that up to 82 on the heater. There we go. As you can see, my heaters are pretty well calcified. Alright, so now we're at our last fish tank. This one doesn't have sediment in it either, but that's okay because I have 50 pounds of pool filter sand outside. Now, pool filter sand I find is the best sediment. And the reason why is because it's extremely cheap. So for a 50-pound bag, you can get, it's like $12.99 is what it cost me at Ace Hardware. So it's like this, you can just use it for sediment in all of your tanks for a really long time, and it gives a nice natural look. I think it makes fish feel more secure than my blue and black gravel. I do like the aesthetic of colored gravel. A lot of people don't. They think it's a bit trashy, but I don't. I think it's awesome. I love it. And I actually had like pink sediment or pink substrate. I couldn't find it. And I didn't want to buy new stuff because this whole pool filter thing being $12.99. So I went and got the pool filter sand because to get more pink substrate, it's like $7.99 a bag. And a bag is only like 2 pounds. So that's why I went to the pool filter sand. Alright, I've just added the pool filter sand, and the annoying thing is, no matter how much you wash it or clean it beforehand, your tank still ends up murky, but we'll just let that settle overnight, and in the morning we should be ready to decorate. It's snowing. I always think my house looks really pretty in the snow. Really nice. I have in this bag a whole mystery full of decorations. Now, you're going to notice that all of the decorations are fabric field plants, so silk field plants. And the reason that is because bettas have these long fins. They're bred for their fins. They're bred for their fin shapes. Oh, have I told you I'm getting bettas? I'm getting bettas. I love bettas. Bettas are actually like my heart fish. They're the fish love of my life, and that's kind of funny because I'm a marine biologist. But they are the fish love of my life, and I had goldfish for the past 2 years. They've been great. They've been awesome. But now it's time to have bettas. I love them. They're just amazing. They're beautiful, and it's time to get back to the fish love of my life. I mean, not that my goldfish are going anywhere in my heart, but bettas. Oh my god. So, bettas, you use silk field plants, and the reason for that is because they're fins. Like I was saying, you've got rose tails, which just have these like massive, long fins. And when you have plastic field plants like this, you see they're hard. Well, they're a little hard. But the bettas will actually tear their fins on these. So whenever you're using bettas, it's always best to get silk field plants. Now that said, these are a few years old. They need to be cleaned. So they are going in the bucket. Here's another silk field plant. This one is supposed to be imitating pennywort, I think. In the bucket. Another silk field plant. I actually went in this one and I cut off the hard plastic parts because it still came with some hard plastic parts. In the bucket. I think this one is supposed to be an Amazon sword. In the bucket. Pennywort. In the bucket. Mini sword. I actually, I think we're gonna cut the plastic off this. I don't actually know what's coming in the post. I think they're placottes. So placottes have short fins, and because of that, they're less likely to cut their fins on plastic plants as opposed to something like a veil tail or a rose tail that just have these long, long, long fins. Okay, there's another mini sword in the bucket. Little temple. So with fish, you don't want to have anything with a hole that is going to be smaller than the fish. So with bettas, we say you don't want any hole that's going to be smaller than a quarter. And I think this one, even on the inside, is just right. In the bucket. More pennywort in the bucket. Amazon sword needs to be clipped. Where did my scissors go? There they are. So this fake Amazon sword needs to be clipped. But yeah, I think I'm getting placottes. I think they're going to be blue. I think they've got giant genes in them. But I actually I didn't go and pick them out. Most people, when you buy a fish, you look at the fish, you talk to the breeder, and you pick out, this is a hard plastic one. That one's not going in. More pennywort. You talk to the breeder and you're like, I want this kind of fish. I want a blue one. I want a placotte. I want a crown tail placotte. I want a, rose tail that's pink. And you have very specific guidelines when you go to buy a fish. Now, I'm getting these fish because they're undersized. And it's really awesome. The breeder, instead of culling them, said they're healthy, they're in good shape. Do you want to take these fish as pet fish because you can't use them for show? And I was like, yeah, I'd love that. So here we go, another little Amazon sword, which I'm trimming. So I don't actually know what is coming in the post, but I'm looking forward to seeing them. I don't know if they're going to be boys. I don't know if they're going to be girls. It's kind of like a surprise lucky dip, but with fish. More pennywort. You can tell that I really like this pennywort. I actually do really like pennywort. It grows well in my tanks. Sometimes you have a plant that you just do well with, but and some plants you just kill. Like hornwort, I kill. Java ferns, they grow massive. Java ferns love me. I don't really know why, but they love me. But there are a lot of things that I kill. I kill Elodia or Nacarus, which I've heard is impossible, but I do kill it. It doesn't survive in my tanks. Another fake sword. More fake pennywort. This is fake. I got no idea what that is. Into the bucket. Here are some little rings. I'm not actually going to use that because the smallest loop, it's too small. So that goes, this is a betta relaxation leaf. So bettas are fish that live at the surface. They swim along and they like to sit on plants that are really close to the top of their tank. So this is a betta relaxation leaf. And what you do is you just sucker it to the side of the tank right near the surface, and your betta will actually rest on there like it's a throne or something. So into the bucket. This is a betta floating log toy. The principle is actually really similar to the same as the leaf, but this log will float in your tank and your betta can sit there and look out, and it's really good for building bubble nests. So into the bucket. Alright, that's everything. So now we've got all of these old toys that have been sitting in storage, and we need to clean them. So I'm going to use vinegar. There's actually like a few things you can use to clean a fish tank. Vinegar is one of them. Vinegar is good because it breaks up something called surfactants, water surfactants. I don't know what they do, but they make stuff stick to other stuff. So like if you've got soapy hands and you want to like clean your fish tank, it's best to use vinegar to rinse your hands, and it stings, but it will take the soap off your hands. So vinegar going into the bucket. And I'm actually going to use a lot of vinegar, like a really high ratio of vinegar to water. So that's 2/3 of a gallon of vinegar, and then I'm just going to fill the rest with water. So I can hear it bubbling, and I think it's bubbling because you get some mineralization that sticks to your ornaments in your tank. Alright, sorry, recording and decorating didn't go so well, but here is tank number 1, and here is tank number 2, and all the way down here, which is going to be very backlit, is tank number 3. Now tank number 3 is a little cloudy. I think so the filters, like I said, they're live filters, and they came in with just like some old aquarium debris and yuck on them, and that's really normal when you take a filter out of a tank for all this like to come out. So that's actually fine. The silt is fine, and after like I'll just hoover it up and it should look good. So we are going to do my water tests. We're doing the water test because it's firstly just really good practice to test your water once a week and make sure there's no nitrite buildup, no nitrite buildup, no ammonia buildup, and that your nitrates are lower than 20, and to make sure that your pH remains stable. So I've added ammonia to these tanks because the filters that I got were live already. And so we're just going to make sure the filters are doing their job, and they are filtering out that ammonia and turning it into nitrites. There's one thing I needed to look at firstly, because bettas are a soft water fish. They don't like a whole lot of dissolved particulates, and they like a low pH of about 6.4 to about 6.8. Now my pH is really high. I just ran this this test. Sorry, this is the high pH and the high range pH, and my pH is about 8, 7.8, 8.0, and that's not actually like bad. It's good to try to make your pH the target range for your fish, and it's really important when you have stuff like discus. But domestic bettas are pretty hardy. They can adapt to all sorts of conditions, and it's more important that you have a stable pH than you have a perfect pH, because if you start adding in buffers and adjusters, your pH can swing a lot if you're not really careful. So I always tend to opt to have a stable pH. That said, I do have an RO filter upstairs, a reverse osmosis filter, and what that does is it strips all the particulates out of the water, and it also lowers the pH quite a bit. I didn't use RO water when I was setting up the tanks just because it was so much water to move around and I was feeling really quite sick, which means that as time passes, I'm going to do water changes maybe once or twice a week with the RO water, and that will lower the pH slowly, and it will lower the dissolved particulates slowly because we want to get the water a bit more soft. But as long as I do it gradually, like maybe once or twice a week, the fish will adjust to it and it won't cause them any trauma or stress. So I think that that's how we're going to lower the pH to get it, and the particulates to get it to a more comfortable place for bettas. So that said, I'm not going to worry about my high pH at the moment. And we're just going to see and make sure all the ammonia is starting to work its way out of the tank. And let's get started. So this a tub is full of the water from the tank that has the awesome substrate in it, the black and blue substrate. And I did feed them a little ammonia. I didn't feed them too much ammonia. I think I dosed it to 1 ppm, which I didn't really test, but I've used that ammonia a lot, so I think that that was what I dosed it to. So this is my API Master Test Kit. Whoops! API Freshwater Master Test Kit. It's about $25 on Amazon. I recommend it just because you need to keep track of your water quality. You want to keep your fish's home healthy and clean, and they'll be so much happier and they won't get sick. Well, they won't get sick as much. They can still get sick, but keeping their immune system healthy really helps prevent them from getting sick. So, ammonia solution 1, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. And then we shake it up just a little bit. And then we find ammonia solution 2. Now ammonia solution 1 is extremely soupy, so you really have to shake the crap out of it to get it to mix well. But this is solution 2, which is not soupy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. Now we give it a shake and we leave it here. Now that has to sit for about 10 minutes. Alright, now we're gonna do nitrites. The two most toxic things in your aquarium are nitrites and ammonia. So those will kill fish, and they will kill fish fast at low levels. So ammonia will kill fish if there's any ammonia, as will nitrites. So that's why I always test those first, is to make sure I don't have any buildup of toxic chemicals. So this is the pink one. This is the nitrites test. Now, ammonia will be converted to nitrites, so I'm just making sure that the nitrites did indeed get converted into nitrates, which will mean the filters are still cycled and they are working, and they survived their very traumatic trip. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the nitrites. Where's my cappy cap? There it is. And that also needs to sit for 5 minutes. And now we're going to do the nitrates. Now nitrates are, I don't want to say they're not toxic. Nitrates can be toxic, but they become toxic in very high levels. So your goal is always to keep your nitrates about 20 ppm per tank in your tanks. That said, it can be really hard because some people have 20 ppm of nitrates right out of their water. I'm lucky, I don't get that. I get about 5 nitrates. So, but I know, like, my friend has like 20 ppm right out of her tank. So it can be hard to keep them below 20 ppm. But there we go. Alright, so those are shaken, shook, shaken, shaken, shook, shooked, shaked, something like that. And we're going to do bottle 1. And this is 10 drops. It's the purple one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, 10 got on my finger. I should really be wearing gloves doing these. Like, some of them do have toxic components in it, so like just wear gloves or wash your hands really, really well when you're done. And then we add part 2. So this turns really yellow at first, like your ammonia test, but it's not. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is the light purple one. So that's number 2. And then we shake, shake, shake. And we leave it to sit for 10 minutes. Alright, so 10 minutes has passed, and I've been reading these for a long time, so I know what the readings are already, but I'm going to put this here for your reference. Now, this is the ammonia test. As you can see, the ammonia test is really quite yellow, which means that there isn't any ammonia in the water, and that's awesome. And the nitrite test is really a very clear blue. So that means there aren't any nitrites in the water. And this is the nitrate test, which is kind of orange. I think this is about 10 ppm of nitrates in the water. And that is also very good because it means that our sponge is working. Good job, little sponge. Thank you, Angel Plus. You rock. And we are set to go.